All right, it's district breakdown time. 10-5A, Division One, the last of our 5A districts, and we are joined with Jon Poorman from the Houston Chronicle. John, last year this district was a mad dash to the finish. You know, there's five teams were fighting for four spots, and Foster ended up being the odd team out, even though they tied for the last spot. How do you think this district's going to play out this year?
Yeah, everybody was really excited and intrigued by this district just because of, the number of perennial playoff contenders that we had going into it after realignment, obviously, and it was also interesting to see, some of the teams on the Southwest side, be paired up with, the Magnolias, and then, you had Friendswood coming over. And so it was a really interesting district with some really good football teams. As you mentioned, it came down, all the way to the end. At first, it was looking like Foster was going to, run away with the district title early on in the district schedule, and then they ended up not making the playoffs at all. So that just shows you the competition level that we had across the board. And I would expect more of the same coming into this year. Obviously, the big surprise there was Fulshire, and maybe not a surprise, but a team that has really been on the rise after they made their first playoff appearance in 2021. They really took it to the next level this season. Went 11-2, 7-1, tied Angleton for the district title. So that was a team that, obviously everybody knows, they put up 616 total points. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, just a ridiculous effort from them offensively, and some of the players they had there. They got a running back, Davion Godley, that's coming back last year. Coming back from last year, they rushed for over 2,000 yards, so that's a good start for them in their district title defense.
And we got some coaching changes as well. I mean, we got a familiar face coming back to Manville. We got one of the more popular coaches moving on from Foster up to Grand Oaks. Talk about some of these coaching changes and how that might shape up the district.
Yeah, the big one there, obviously you mentioned, is Kirk Martin, coming back to Manville, where he really was the kind of the architect of that program and led it to a lot of success there, including a trip to state where they came up just short of winning it all. But Kirk Martin is a fantastic coach. He has a proven track record. He left Manville to become a college coach, and spent a few years, I think, at Colleyville Heritage, if I'm not mistaken, and then now he's back at Manville. It just seemed like the perfect match there. Of course, Sean McDowell has moved on from Foster. Again, a coach that has had a lot of success with that program and kind of building it up. And so it'll be interesting to see how the Falcons kind of, can move on and, start this new era.
And one of my, well, first of all, Kirk Martin's coming back to a pretty good defense there at Manville. I mean, they got the sack leader back in Mason Fleming, and they got Caleb Blanton back at linebacker. So their defense is good, and they always have athletes there. But what do you think about Angleton? I mean, Angleton was to me, was the shocking district winner of all, not the shocking, but the quiet. That's what I meant to say. The quietest district winner probably of all the districts in all of Houston, because they won the district, but man, people weren't really hyping them up all that. They went 7-1 in the district, and they ended up making the postseason as the co-district champs.
Yeah, I mean, just a really, impressive performance, in this district. I mean, they took care of business when they needed to. They only advanced to the second round of the playoffs, but you look what they did down the stretch. I think they had 5 consecutive wins down the stretch of district play. They beat all the teams that they were supposed to beat, and then they beat the teams that, most of them. I think their only loss was to Foster. So they took care of business against Manville. They beat Fulshire. So it was just a really impressive performance down the stretch for them in taking care of business. And obviously they would have liked to, I think, had some more postseason success, but it's a good building block towards this next year of what they can accomplish.
Absolutely, I expect Manfield to kind of maybe be fighting for that district title this year. I just got a good feeling about them. Let's
Yeah,
go
it's
ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's really it feels like it's kind of up for grabs once again. I mean, and then you also, I mean, you cannot forget about these Magnolia schools, Magnolia West. They were winning district titles and making the playoffs, in the other district they were in previous years as well. And they both got great head coaches there, and they're always going to be competitive in these type of situations. So you can't count them out either.
So you're saying it's going to be another mad dash to the end.
It's looking that way.
Well, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
That's going to do it for 5A. We're going to move on to 6A next week, and we'll talk about Sean McDowell as we go right to 13-6A, and that's where he's at now. And that's a 9-team district, and it's probably got the one or two of the best players in the state in that district for sure.
Yeah. Up in Montgomery County, my old stomping ground, so quite familiar with this district.
So we're going to expect at least an hour-long district breakdown as he talks about all his old buddies.
Probably could.
All right, John, I appreciate it. I'll see you next week.
All right, see ya.